Patrick, you were on board. Love signed Danu as he won by 24 lengths on Sunday. Just how impressed were you by his performance?
Yeah, sure. Look, it was a fantastic performance. Probably much better than we were expecting. At home, he wouldn't flash up the gallop, but he's always solid. Always sees out the work well. That's why we went for a 2 mile 2 bump with him, and I rode him quite positively because I think he has a high cruising speed. He's able to maintain that kind of relentless gallop. So he definitely exceeded our expectations.
It looked a real stamina test in the conditions. Is that where you see this horse's future, as you think he's a steer in the making?
Well, look, it definitely put the emphasis on stamina. I mean, he would have won at 2 miles anyway. I mean, obviously, I think the further he goes, the better he goes. He has a great temperament. He settled very well. Even when Vienna Storm was running a bit keen on his outside, he was very settled and relaxed. I'd like to think he's, that embryonic 3 mile chaser.
And a treble for the yard on the card yesterday. Does it feel like the horses are just clicking into gear now, just at the right time ahead of the DRF this weekend?
Yeah, definitely. Look, I think we probably had a slow November with all the bad weather, and yeah, the horses were probably a little bit short at Christmas, which can happen. It's not completely unusual, but we've got properly stuck into them now since Christmas, and I think we've seen the results of that on the track. So you'd like to think that that might stand to us later in the season, hopefully.
And just as we look ahead to the DRF this weekend, how big a weekend is this for the yard?
Actually, DRF is huge for us. Obviously it's an amalgamation of the three Sundays that used to be there in January, includes the Irish Gold Cup and the Irish Champion Hurdle. I mean, as a standalone festival, this is where we want to hit the target, and we want our horses to be at their peak here, and we want to win the races here. There's great prize money, great crowds, and great ground, and I think Leopardstown deserves huge credit for putting the whole thing together.
And obviously, it's early days yet, but are there any particular DRF rides that you're looking forward to personally?
Well, I don't know exactly what I'm going to be on yet, but obviously we have Bencher Hill in the Geldings bumper. He won very well under Jody at Christmas. I was down in Limerick on the day. So he looks a very exciting horse, and it perhaps maybe isn't the most deep edition of the race, but I suppose time will tell whether that's right or wrong. And then we have three in the bump, the Mayor's bumper on the Sunday. To have to choose one of those through work this week. Look, Gaelic Warrior is entered there. I don't know. I don't know what he run. Amsterdam is in the Champion Hurdle. I wouldn't mind another go on him. Hopefully, I'll be putting my hand up for him. I doubt I'll get back on Final Demand, but Jimmy DeSoy and Kitzbühel are possible second strings. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see later in the week what way the cards fall.
And if you did get the ride on Amsterdam, is there anything you would try to do differently, or was it just a case of hoping he settles better and trying to hold on to him?
Yeah, I think well, we'll see whether we there was talk maybe letting him make the running or just dropping him in completely. Dropping him in last. And I think the way this race is going to be set up will suit him much better. I think they'll probably go a stronger gallop for brighter days ahead. It looks to me like there'll be less no hopers. So you could probably settle in at the back off a strong gallop, and I think he'd settle. And basically, I was using his jumping in Leopardstown, and unfortunately, his jumping just got him into a gap, and when he landed in the gap, he was gone. So he probably just wouldn't use his jumping until later on in the race. But yeah, I think with the benefit of the experience of Christmas, I think we'd probably be able to manage him at the weekend.
Thanks, Patrick, and best of luck with everything this weekend.
Great, thanks so much, Andy.